Hello and welcome. This is a very special episode near and dear to Tom's heart and mine, actually, too. I mean, I shouldn't just say Tom's. However, it's near and dear to Tom's heart because this has something to do what he's gone to school for. This is the whole thing. This is Tom's exercises that he's worked on for himself, for me, for various other members of our family. Because everyone in our family has connective tissue disorders. And what that means is that our bodies do not necessarily make collagen the way most bodies do. And when we're under stress, like especially extended stress, like weeks, months, it interrupts our body's ability to fully produce collagen. And you need collagen because most parts of the human body use collagen for something, for some part of the functioning. So we have all sorts of special movement needs. On the other hand, the flip side of having Ehlers-Danlos is no one in our family has broken a bone in, 100 years at least now. And several members of the family have dropped from, second and third story buildings and been run over by Model Ts, and no broken bones from any of those things. So there's benefits to it. But on the other hand, day to day, you hurt. You hurt a lot. So what do you do? Tom?
So the real secret to it, that eventually I figured out, and it's not really a secret, it's just stuff we don't talk about or think about, is it's the same answer for why is it when kids fall, they bounce, and when adults fall, they tend to break. And the answer is very simply that adults are stiff. That kids have, you've seen kids walk around. They are, puppies. They are human puppies. They move all over. They're not very efficient in their movement. They play, their arms flail. And while we may laugh and think of that as being childish, it does do something really beneficial to the body that we lose out on as we get older, and we tend to keep ourselves very still and move in small movements only. And that is, it keeps all the nutrients moving through the muscles and the joints, and it keeps the joints lubricated, because your blood supply is there to bring oxygen to all the parts of your body. It is not actually there to bring nutrients. The nutrients is in the lymph system. And the lymph moves through your body when you move joints. That's the pump system. It doesn't use the heart. It uses every little joint movement, moves fluids just a little bit further through the system, and that's where all the nutrients and that's where all the garbage collection is. And that is how your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments and your joints all stay happy, healthy, and supple, and without real pain. And so
the secret is to be inefficient?
Yes. And to play. You want a good way to not hurt as much? Dance. Whenever you have a few minutes, dance however you enjoy, wherever you are. It's part of why dancers are happier. you're literally going to sleep better if you dance, or you do these movement exercises we're going to go over today.
Mm-hmm.
Because that stiffness you feel in the morning
Mm-hmm.
is because it has been you're just moving just enough to keep all the muscles fed and taken care of during the day. When you sleep, you're not moving nearly as much. And so now they've truly gotten stiff because they need more nutrition, and they would need some garbage collection. And until you move, there's too much built up. But if you're always dancing and moving and doing these big motions, when you sleep, it's, there's nothing in the trash. There is a full cupboard stocked in the pantry. And so overnight, they can do whatever they want, and they've got enough supplies. And
Mm-hmm.
so they're happy in the morning. And so you don't have that stiffness that we joke about, everyone over 30, have you taken your ibuprofen today? Because your body is inflamed. It is, and a lot of it is just we don't move enough.
Mm-hmm.
We don't do big motions. Like, that is part of what really helps, is that, I said, kids flail, but it's not just the flailing. It's the part of when you tell a kid to go look over somewhere, they don't do this.
No.
Every kid you tell to go look over there, their entire body it's every part of the body decides at its own rate how to turn, but it's all going to turn to face it. So it's,
Yeah.
The arms may get ahead of the torso, and the legs are still catching up as
it's a very sort of theatrical movement.
And then, there's going to be kind of a little bounce back as it tries to figure out where it wants to center.
And the feet shuffle.
Yes. And all of those joints moving helps get things moving through the system. And that is what keeps humans healthy physically.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I remember from my massage therapy school was them bringing up the fact that 90% of, at least, in the Western world where, this was where the study was done, 90% of complaints people had to go seek a professional about their body was musculoskeletal.
Mm-hmm.
It was not, even a problem with their digestion, which gives you an idea of like how much people physically hurt. That 90% is that, which means you think of all those times you have tummy aches and everything else, and you're going to go see the doctor, someone who went to go see the doctor because of digestion problems. For every one of those, there was probably 8 or 9 people who went to a doctor because their muscles and their joints hurt.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real common problem. And it is why we see with, as people get older and retire, well, you see them more and more get into these movement exercise groups.
Mm-hmm.
Whether that is yoga, tai chi, just aerobics, chair aerobics. And they, keep talking about just as long as you move, you're alive. And it's, true. Of your body craves movement. It is built around the concept that you're always moving. It is not designed for sedentary. That's the real reason why people's risks of inflammatory disease and, most of the common killers of modern Western world drops by half if every hour you stand up and just move for 5-10 minutes. Because your body just needs that movement to get everything going through the system. Of just how much we are not designed to stand still. And to that effort, because I know how much, we are all stressed, and we're not all sure. A lot of us have forgotten how to play or how to do non-task oriented or non-goal oriented tasks.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a lot of different movements and exercises you can do in your daily life. That's just a few minutes to do any of these. You can do them throughout the day. You can do them sitting, you can do them standing, you can do them, with no real space. And they will help your body and those parts of your joints feel much better that you use a lot. Um, like to me, one of the worst ones I ever hear about that I'm always sad to hear is how much people suffer from carpal tunnel syndrome. And well, yes, it is in your wrist that, the inflammation starts and it wears down and where everyone notices the pain. The root cause is actually in your forearm muscles that are just doing the repetitive motion and not getting the counter motion to get it to relax and move nutrients through the system. And so,
It's
yeah,
too efficient.
if you're just stuck doing the exact same motion and you never get the counter motion to help move more nutrients through the system and flush out what it needs to be gone and is used up and to repair, it builds up, and eventually it builds up in the wrist because all the muscles stay tight on both sides. Your body's supposed to be a lever system where when this muscle tightens, this muscle relaxes. Well, guess what? If this one doesn't relax, something's got to give. And so all the pressure just builds up in the joint where all the muscles are pulling at once. And so, yes, this helps reduce the chance of getting carpal tunnel. This reduces your chances of your other joints just wearing down because all the muscles are pulling on that joint together and essentially pulling it into the socket and applying more pressure than it needs or it was designed for and just wearing it down faster. You can do something like a soft, pet all day long on your skin, but if you start rubbing on your skin all the time, that skin's going to, lose layers and you will get raw and you can do real damage to that skin no matter where you do it. And that's the same problem with, adults as we get older with these muscles is we're not doing the other muscles and essentially telling our body physically it can relax those muscles we use all the time. And that is what range of motion exercises are about. It is to get those muscles back to their full range of motion and to essentially lighten up. And that's why I wanted to go over, for all of our friends who, have desk-bound jobs, who, if you're a writer, you're going to be sitting a lot unless you're dictating. Here's all the many little exercises you can just do a few minutes a day and take care of yourself, and you'll have so much more energy because you won't hurt. You don't realize how much energy you lose from mental fatigue and the inflammation in your joints. So that pain takes up a lot of energy in the back of your brain. And so it's hard to get stuff done when you're just in pain. And so here's a good way to reduce your pain. And yeah, that's why I wanted to go over all of these many exercises, simple things anyone can do. They're not hard, but this started originally because of Megan. Megan, who was what is it she did? She worked for. She did exercises.
The Arthritis Foundation.
Yeah. That she loved doing these classes. They were real easy, but they make you feel good. And she couldn't find any online resources for what kind of exercises you should do in this situation. So she asked around. She asked me. And since I've done massage therapy and I've had a lot of anatomy and physiology classes, so many, no more. I started thinking about, okay, what kind of motions and movements could we make for this that anyone can do and will help, help improve the health of anyone who does it, and that it's effective. And then you reminded me about some exercises you had come across in a magazine from like, what was it, 19 teens, I think.
I think it was the early 1920s.
Nice ways.
Yeah, that I
And I
read
was,
as a teenager. It was like, it was actually, it might have been a 1960s reprint of a 1920s women's magazine
mm-hmm.
that our public library had. And in it, I was just, look, let's be honest about teenage glory. I was mostly reading these magazines and the old reprints of Sears catalogs for the pictures of clothing and food.
Mm.
I was looking for recipes and I was looking for pictures of clothing. That was.
I mean, yes, true. Few people know just how much you love designing fashion when you were younger. You
I
have
haven't
so
stopped.
many.
I,
Yeah.
it's just, it's frustrating to design clothes and never get to see them made. So,
Yeah.
however, yeah, it still goes on because I was just watching an episode of Carol Burnett show and the Pointer Sisters are on.
Mm.
And I was looking at their outfits and I was like, ooh, this is what I would have put them in now, like more modern, because it
Mm-hmm.
was like, I think it was the late 60s, early 70s. So it was very, and their outfits were supposed to be sort of this interesting callback to the 1920s.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ooh, I know how I'd redo this. I mean, Bob Mackie, a genius.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had some ideas for how I would put what outfits I would put them in the 2020s.
But yeah, so I've been just playing with it in the back of my head for the last several months of what are different things we could do. And then it was like, we're thinking about ideas for, essentially this, our life skills class.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole, what we're really bringing is we know we're very good researchers. And because part of the real secret to finding things out is you have to know the terms to search for
Mm-hmm.
to find the information you're actually looking for. And that is what's hard for most people, understandably. Like, if you just haven't been in that kind of realm before, you don't know the words that get you the professionals, actual information that we now know. And so I was like, yeah, as you get older, we all hurt. Why do we all hurt? Why is this a meme? We all know now of, how old were you when you realized to go to sleep, you need to take an ibuprofen? And a lot of people I hear now, it's in their mid 20s. Of, yeah, if you are not moving, if you are stiff all the time, this is who these exercises are for. The ones who just, we forget to play, we forget to dance, we forget to have fun every day in our life. And then if we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong. And so, hopefully I will not be judged too much for as I try to, show you how to do these. Because believe me, I feel a little silly.
Mm-hmm.
I am not used to being a coach or whatever.
There we go.
Um, so yeah, it's like, here, let me bring up my notes. Because you best believe I'm not going to remember all of these in the moment. And I have a better appreciation for a lot of people who do yoga classes tend to have notes on the specific um, sequence of yoga exercises. Because, yeah, in the moment, it's easy to forget. Let's see. And I've given them easy to remember, ridiculous names.
Such as?
Let's see. We have cat touching water for your diaphragm and lower back. No, with your foot.
Oh, okay.
Cat touching puddle.
Mm-hmm.
We have standing hallelujah, which is for your shoulders and upper back. We have the downhill ski twist.
I can't wait to watch you demonstrate.
Which for your waist, hips, and knees. No. Here's the one that I'm just like, oh, this is ridiculous. But you know what? You will remember how to do this based on this name. We have puppy belly with Care Bear stare. Protect the light. Which is an abdominal and diaphragm exercise. And for your pecs and upper back. For writers, and truly the ones for writers to remember, we have Kitty has claws, hurt paw. The no head turn. The not good enough head turn. Oh, my back. Look at my shoe.
He's been working on these names all summer.
And crunch and bunch.
I can't wait.
And to give you an idea of how simple these are, let's start with the simplest one, which is just the no head turn.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the pain in your lower jaw, all the way down to your upper shoulders, is going to be actually based in all the muscles in your neck. And it is because your head is 8 pounds plus.
Right.
And if you're working on a computer, often the time you are not actually ergonomically positioned. Because ergonomically positioned, your head should stay balanced on top of your body. It should be aligned with your spinal column. But when we work on computers, we lean forward. And what that means is all of these back muscles on your back have to work extra hard to keep your head from rolling forward. So even though you don't notice it, that's how strong these muscles are. All of these muscles in your back and neck are working constantly to keep your head at this particular angle as you stare at the screen.
Ditto when you drop.
Yeah.
Because you're using very similar body
And
stance.
most people, again, do not position their car driver's seat so that they can drive like this. They're almost always hunched forward.
Yeah, I've noticed that.
And some of that actually is emotional based, which I don't even want to get into. Look, there's no judgment. There's a lot of reasons we do this. And so here's some ways to compensate for, doing this. And it's, you just need to give these muscles a little bit of time off. And these range of motion exercises is to just get fresh nutrients into the system. And you want to do this 3 times a day. And we're just talking a minute or 2 of doing this at a time.
Okay.
It's no major.
So not a lot. It's not
No.
Really, it's not disruptive.
No.
All right, so let's get started. What you got?
And so when you do this one, you do want your head in a neutral position. So you're actually going to have to,
lean back a little.
Up. Yeah, you're going to have to actually sit up.
Okay.
And look straight forward. Again, so your head is level.
Okay.
And then we're just going to turn it from one side.
Sideways?
Yep. As far as is comfortable. Maybe a little bit more where your neck starts to get a little stiff. You feel the muscles getting tight.
Okay.
And then we're just going to turn the other direction all the way. Okay, so we're doing about a 160 to 180.
I really feel it right on my neck, right behind the ears.
And this is not a fast motion. You can do this at a steady pace, though, if you like. Because you want to do about 35 to 50 per side. So, you want to do about essentially, if you're doing this as whole range of motion sweeps, you want to do about 40 to 50 sweeps. It's just 1, 2, 3.
Now, I was taught to do that slower. In belly dancing, we do it slower, partly to avoid injury.
I say, and again, you do need to that's why you have to keep your head straight. This is one where actually the first couple times you do this, you want to be looking in your camera, or you want to be looking in a mirror, so you can actually see if your chin stays level.
Yeah, I was told in belly dancing to imagine your chin is on a plane, and you're keeping it even on that plane.
But one thing that, while I know it's not actually the best form, I do find it's a little bit easier to keep the fun of it, so you've done it.
Right?
Is that when you reach the end of each one, you can raise your shoulder or you can lower your chin and just touch your shoulder. And just, to signal that's the number. 1, 2.
Well, it's harder to keep it on that plane then.
I know, and it's fine if it's not on plane, because we're just trying to get all of these exercises. For belly dancing, you want to keep it on that plane because you are training your proprioceptors how to keep your head level and flat while your body is moving.
It's so we can do this.
Yeah.
That's why we
versus for this exercise,
we're practicing isolating the muscles so that we can move them independent.
Yeah.
Because most people are used to this, but they don't know how to actually make their head appear to move on a plane.
Versus this, we're trying to get this muscle that goes from your chin all the way down your neck to your upper shoulders, and their counterpart, the traps on the back. We're just trying to get those to fully tighten and relax, because part of the reason that these tighten up and they start ratcheting and they don't relax is they never actually get fully tightened. They just get about 60% tight, and they don't always remember to then relax, because they're like, oh, I can still maintain this tightness while the other side is tightening. You kind of, because you untrained yourself to do the automatic relaxation. That's what we're trying to retrain. It's just when this tightens all the way, the other part needs to relax. And you see, this is not going to get you sweating.
No.
This is not going to get you out of breath. But you will probably notice when you finish this that your neck will feel a little bit stiffer. You'll notice the muscles more.
Yeah, I do feel it.
And that's because you've actually gotten them to fully tighten, and now they're supposed to actually relax, and they're noticing the difference in that state.
Yeah, my right side is stiffer than my left side.
Versus your body uses a trick of just keeping it at a certain standard level of tightness. So it doesn't have to think about working it. Instead, it just keeps it at a certain, that's what we call about muscle tone. Is your muscles rarely fully relax unless you have put some kind of substance on them to make them stop firing. They always have some tone in them. And it's getting your body to go, oh, I can relax it a lot more. That really helps. Yeah, just no, don't want to. And if you prefer, you can always just go.
I would have called it the look both ways.
Yeah, because it's like.
Yeah, because you look both ways before you cross the street.
Yeah. Like, here's another secret you only learn after you study yoga for a while, or similar, is these whole names we're used to hearing for these poses and motions and stuff is relatively new. They used to just show them, here's the pose, and they would just, number them and just go, from one to the next. It was actually a Western invention, really, to come up with, child pose, warrior pose. in all this, because it's easier to remember. I'm trying to look like this, or I'm trying to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a mnemonic device. Yeah, we all come up with our own little names for this. But yeah, you'll probably notice after you do this that the right up at the base of your skull,
Yeah.
we tire, and that is because that's the part that rarely gets a chance to relax.
Yeah, that's where I feel it.
And that's how you still need to do this exercise regularly.
Mm-hmm.
Because even doing that, no, it's not going to immediately fix anything. Doing any of these exercises is not an immediate fix of, oh, I am now pain-free. I don't have to worry. You didn't get the
I don't
muscles.
know that anything is magic like that at all in the world. Like,
Yeah. But I mean, people trying to sell this always try to say like, oh yeah, you just do this once, correctly. When you finally do it correctly, you'll be fine. It's like, no.
do you
You didn't
remember
get here in
back
a day.
in the 90s where like, so it was like first 10-minute exercise? All
Mm-hmm.
you do is just 10 minutes, once a week and you'll be fine. And then it was like so it was like 10-minute abs and all
Yeah.
this. And then through the 90s, the further we got in the 90s, the shorter and shorter, till I remember it got down to like 90 seconds. And it's like, I don't know that you can get anything done in 90 seconds muscle wise. Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to get abs of steel in 90 seconds, not even 90 seconds a day. That's just not going to happen.
And I said, like, you didn't get into the shape, in just a few moments.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get out of it in just a few moments, but these are some simple things you can do every day. You can just make a literal, timer on your phone to, alarm every day to go off at like, 2:15. Do your, look both ways exercise. And just literally do it for a minute or two. That's it. We're not talking, major time. But your neck will be a lot less stiff when you wake up. You will not be as stiff.
Mm-hmm.
You will, have more energy when you wake up simply because you'll have less pain you're compensating for. I mean, and that's the other part of it really, is just to reduce the pain. You don't realize how much pain you're always in.
That's true.
That is part of, truly being an adult is learning to ignore the pain.
Yeah, we're humans, we're subjective creatures. All right. Next exercise. What you got?
All right, let's see. I figured I would kind of work my way down the body.
Sure. Why not? All right. So is the next one the shoulders?
Yes.
What you got? The shrug? He did not share these with me, by the way. I'm just guessing.
Yeah, speaking, that's the other part I was looking for, is like, here, let me actually send this to you so you can.
Yeah. Did not try these out on me ahead of time.
We've got a lot going on.
Why would we rehearse? That would be weird. We know that what y'all desperately crave is our improv act.
Here, I have sent it to you.
Where'd you send it?
Glory Writes the Blues.
To my email?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you would have to tell me, go check your email, Glory.
Go check your email, Glory.
Okay, because, like, guess who doesn't normally check email during the show? It's not in my email.
All right, here, let me just post it to private chat real quick.
Oh, now it showed up.
Okay.
Open and keep. My God, Tom. I can't believe Google still has keep.
Has still what?
Keep. You know, you sent me the link to a different folder, right? In private chat. That is not the link you think it is. That's the movie link.
But yeah, the next one probably should just be do the shrug.
Do the shrug. I don't know. Do you have this in stock? Feel like I've now become another character in Yoga Hosters. Here we go.
And again, it's a have fun with it. So
Sorry
you can.
about that. Sorry about that. Meh. Meh. We'll call it the meh. Meh.
Meh.
Meh.
Although the one part that you do have to remind everyone is make sure to actually drop your shoulder when you finish.
All the way down, as far as it'll go.
Because a lot of people have a tendency to like keep it up.
Yeah.
When they shrug, and then it's like, no,
That's
you
the
have to
amazing.
really just drop those shoulders. Drop it after you do it. Pick up the worries of the world and drop them.
Drop them.
Pick up your worries and drop them. The noises are optional. And again, this is just, it's for the shoulders and your traps. And again, people don't realize how much when you're typing, you tend to roll your shoulders forward. And so again, these muscles always stay tight and your back has to always relax and you tend to round them. And this is where, yeah, your shoulders and upper back hurt a lot because, the muscles are not staying even in their motion. But yeah, it's just channel your inner teenager. All right.
I see you have the not good enough head turn. If we're starting for the top going down, then we need to do that one.
Yeah, you're right. I lost track of that one.
Yes. I've tried reorganizing your notes now.
I noticed.
You're welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, the not good enough head turn is similar to the look both ways, but it works a little bit different ones.
Okay.
Because again, this will also help. So when you breathe, there is actually 3 areas of your chest that can expand. There is the one we usually think about, which is your lungs, your chest. Well, it goes out as you breathe in to, get air in. The second part, though, that a lot of people have a tendency to avoid is their stomach, the part below the ribs. Because they don't want anyone to, think they have a belly.
Right.
And so they'll avoid expanding their belly when they breathe, because that's how where's your diaphragm supposed to go if not out?
Right.
And the last part, this one is about to do, the not good enough head turn, is the first 3 ribs, the part that is under your collarbone. These first 3 up here.
Okay.
They are the last part to get a full breath. When people say take a full breath, it means that you have now expanded your ribs, you've expanded your belly.
Right.
And the last part is these muscles are going to lift your ribs up to get that last part of the breath in the top of your lungs.
Okay.
Well, when you are always hunched forward typing.
Oh yeah, you can't really do that full
muscles
inhalation because
are
you're
squished.
Right.
And so they stay in a tight position even though they're not working. And so it's another part that really leads to that tightness in your neck that you just always feel like you don't even want to turn because these neck muscles are always so tight.
Right, they are.
And so to help do that as well, that's where it's turn your nose up.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so these muscles are actually just going to stay a bit relaxed, and these are going to stay more tightened.
Okay.
But these in your neck will now actually have to work more.
Okay.
And help keep your head balanced. And so that's why it's
like, no, not good enough. Mm-mm.
not good enough.
Nope, not good enough.
Yeah, have fun. Just have a minute of I do not like any of this.
I don't like any of this. This is not good enough.
I smell bad ideas all around me. Nope.
Nope.
No, no.
Not good enough.
My nose tells me your ideas are bad. It says do not go close.
Mm-mm. Nope, nope. I could smell your dumpster ideas from here. Nope.
No.
No, no. No, thank you. Hard pass. I will not even look at you. No, no.
No, no.
I am hoity-toity. No, no, no.
And just make sure that you get all the way over to your cheek as far as you can. You know, you want to go from shoulder to shoulder.
Yes.
And again, another part is you be careful. This is one where you may want to do it slowly because this is another one that people tend to raise their shoulders up when they do it. So they don't have to actually turn as much.
Oh,
and so
yeah.
you want to keep your shoulders dropped.
I see.
And so even if your cheek does not touch your shoulder, that's fine. This is range of motion. We're just trying to get these muscles as much area to move and stretch.
Yeah, I
So
still
they
feel
know
it.
what
I
being
still feel it
relaxed
like
is.
right behind my ears or right at my ears on the sides of my neck. Still feel that good stretch. Not good enough. No, no.
And so these exercises are range of motion exercises.
Right.
These are actually going to do a similar effect as yoga. The difference being we are not holding a stretch. We are simply moving back and forth through this stretch in range of motion to let your body recalibrate to what is a normal range of motion. And there is the difference. With yoga, we're trying to show the body what is the extent, how far the muscle can relax and stretch. In a range of motion, we are recalibrating and telling the body, here's the full range that this muscle can do. I know it's been a while since I've done it. You may have forgotten. Let's now remember how far it can really go so it doesn't keep them tight when it doesn't need to. And I said, like, that's why you have to make sure you drop your shoulders.
Okay.
And then, yeah, you will notice that your ear, you'll probably actually feel it in your inner ear when you do this stretch. Because that is one of the attachment points. And we just usually don't move our head this much. You know, we stop being kids. Versus how much have you seen kids do that motion and they look up and like, what's that? You know, you get taller, you don't have to look up as much either.
That's true. What's that?
What that?
What's that?
Yeah, just have fun with it. None of these are supposed to be, you know, real serious. We want to specifically do this slowly. And the reason we're doing this slowly is so that the nerves all fire and we feel all the parts of our body. Because if we can process the muscle feeling, our brain will process the muscle feeling and go, oh, wait, that doesn't feel right. No, we can go further. Or, nope, that's too far. Let's stop. It's okay. But yeah, that's what this is for. And at the same time, we are getting fresh nutrients in there so that whatever repairs and, you know, it needs the body and maintenance the body needs to do, it can actually do. Because if you're not moving it much, it's not getting fresh, you know, nutrients.
We have time for one more exercise before we go to a bio break.
Okay, and last one, which was the what's that?
We just did it. What's that? What's that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're going to take a bio break in a moment.
But yeah, I hope this gives you some sense of what we're going to do. We're going to do a bunch more when we come back.
Shall we do the kitty has claws, hurt paw?
Yes.
Right
The
before
most
we
important one for writers that we all forget about.
Demonstrate it for us.
Okay. So this kitty has claws.
Ha.
Hurt paws.
Hurt paws. Claws. Hurt paws. Just a paw.
And so here, let me do this from the side so it's easier to see.
Okay.
So you truly want to just like truly let them hang.
So you want to fold, you want to bend your elbows a little? Or are you doing it straight?
Either one will work because this is a forearm.
But do you want your wrist straight? Or
No, we're going to curl this wrist.
okay.
We want to curl under.
Okay.
For hurt paw.
Hurt paw.
Because we were trying to get this.
Well, I meant more like this. Is this, or does this need to be straight?
Oh, either will work.
Okay.
In fact, it's like whatever's going to be most fun for you. So yeah, you can do this at a 45-degree angle. And believe me, you will definitely, if you are a writer or you type all day, you are definitely going to feel this in your wrist, your hand, and probably your forearm because they are overly tight. And so this one, you may want to consider just doing every hour for the first week for about a minute at a time of just the... And this one, again, actually is better if you can do it a little bit slower because we are, again, trying to get the body to go, oh, is that what the muscles are supposed to be doing?
You didn't want to do...
Oh, pshaw.
Darling.
No, Gloria, I'm talking to writers here, and I know they will all remember anything related to a cat.
Darling.
Not everyone grew up on coffee chat.
Coffee talk? Obviously, you did
Coffee
not.
talk. But yeah, it's really simple. It's nothing complex, but this will help your forearms relax so much. And if you want to see how much effect this actually has on your muscles, just put your hand on your forearm and do that motion and see how much your muscles are actually tightening and having to relax.
Mm-hmm.
And then do the bottom. And you go, oh, yeah.
I mean, look, it is a little bit of the fagula here.
As I said, whatever one works for you, because the real part is we're trying to get this wrist flexed back and forth. That's the real key joint.
Stop. I know I'm fabulous. Stop. I know I'm fabulous. Stop. I know I'm fabulous. Stop.
Do you like my nails? They're fabulous. Do you like my nails? They're fabulous.
See my nails? Fabulous.
We're just trying to get this back and forth as far as possible. Mm-hmm. Because by doing that, we are pumping fresh nutrition through the forearm. And we're getting these muscles to tighten and relax. Mm-hmm. And if your body doesn't get those muscles relaxed every day, then when you sleep, it won't know when it resets to, oh, this is the normal. They're always this tight. And that's not good for you. Mm. So, all right. Shall we take a little bio break?
Yes, let's take a little bio break. And when we come back, upper body. All right, now is a wonderful time to make sure you have your drink of choice and maybe a snack. It's definitely snack time. We'll see y'all in a few minutes. Meep. 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 Welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, I'm a little out of breath because during the break, Tom and I spatchcocked a 25-pound turkey and put it in the smoker, and the smoker had already started, so I got a bunch of smoke up my nose too. So it's like tickling. But also it's like 96 degrees outside, and I was standing there with, because Tom was the one with the turkey hands, they're all covered in turkey juice, and so it was a little warm outside. So, but we got, a 25-pound. It's the biggest bird. It barely fit. We have a divided sink, so it has two sides, and the turkey honestly barely fit into the one half of the sink. That's how big it was. How big it is. And so there's Tom, like, hand me the big cleaver. He's hacking it to get it to split the spine in order to spatchcock it. It was wild. Hi, Spence. Not here, but I'm not. I'm avoiding reality. Okay, well, hope things get better. It wasn't a great day earlier for me. I'm starting to feel better. I was having bladder spasms, so it wasn't easy. Tom, you're still muted.
Okay.
So I was telling them about the turkey. The 25-pound. He must have been such an intimidating bird when he had feathers, because he was huge. The tail alone, just the tail, was this big. It was like as big as a lamb's tail. Like, well, I guess a lamb is 25 to 35 pounds. So, okay. Anyway, he was a big one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was heavy, wasn't he? Even with the wings cut off and the neck separated. Because Tom put them on the top rung of the smoker, and then the spatchcocked turkey in the bottom rung, bottom grilling rung, whatever. Anyway, yeah, he was an impressive bird. So that as we wrestled him into the smoker,
He's going to have a good 5 hours to just,
at least, yeah.
Thank God, at least you spatchcock him, because
because that's what I was saying before. Tom was like, I'm just going to have to put him in whole, and I'm like, spatchcock it. It'll take half the time. He said, yeah, who's going to smoke a turkey for like 10 to 15 hours? Forget that.
And that is why I keep the, horror movie cleaver around.
Yes. It is. Yeah.
Of like, it's literally got, chips in the blade.
Yeah.
Missing. But that's actually perfect when, you're dealing with large bones.
Yes. So that is why I'm a little red-faced. I have a little sweat on my brow. It was hot outside. Even in the shade, it was hot. 96 degrees with, like, what is the humidity? 70% right now? 60?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that. It is humid. The trees, they respirate. But we got it done. We got the door closed. It's all good. It should be. Tom put more chips in. That was actually what was delaying him, actually. Was putting in more chips.
We're smoking a turkey. You don't want to run out of smoke.
Yeah, you don't. You don't want to.
All right. So the next one is one that you can do if you have a table in front of you.
Uh-huh.
Otherwise, you can use a wall.
Okay.
All right,
Do you
I'm gonna
need
have
the
to.
folding table? Because we've got.
No, I've got one. It's more of just the. I don't need to hear from anyone about. Yeah, I know how messy my room is.
You've been doing pretty good about cleaning it up.
But I'm gonna have to turn this sideways so y'all can see what this looks like, because it's gonna be hard.
I mean,
to tell.
your room is in like a transition, so it's kind of like all over disorganized because everything's getting moved around. Yeah, you need it a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
You'll see why I call this standing hallelujah.
All right.
And this is for the tightness between your shoulder blades. So,
Okay.
and again, this is because we tend to roll our shoulders forward. These muscles are always forced to stay relaxed and yet still do work. They're very, definitely feel very, in contradictory situations.
Tom,
And
would you like to borrow my back scratcher for pointing purposes?
Actually, let me just do a little Shira real quick.
Okay.
And so between your shoulder blades gets very stiff because when you're typing and sitting all the time, because again, you're leaning forward. Those muscles have to keep your head balanced, but at the same time, they have to relax so that you can roll your shoulders forward.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, they get very discombobulated and stuck.
Okay.
And so here is a good way to relax those muscles and just exercise them and get them moving. And so as we're just pay no attention to that sound of crashing. And we're going to stand, and then we're going to bring our hands while still on the desk or somewhere, because we're going to lean our heads forward, and we want our hands to be planted so that when we move our head forward, our shoulders are going to have to rotate.
Okay.
And that's why we're going to do this.
Oh, now I see why you call it standing hallelujah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what they do in churches.
But you need something that will keep your hands and arms from moving so that your shoulders have to rotate.
So yeah,
And that's like you can do this at a desk, especially if you have a taller desk.
Yeah.
And seated, because the real trick is to just have your shoulders out in front of you and to be able to lean your head through your shoulders and down. And rise up and look down. Again, we're going to do this slowly. And if you want to, you can hang a little bit down forward if you feel a stretch and you like where it's going. We all like a nice stretch. And just do this about 20, 30 times. And you can see that you can either rotate your butt and rotate your hips and move your butt out as the counterbalance to do this, or you can just bend your knees and bring your entire self down while not moving your hands.
Mm-hmm.
depending on space and just how you feel comfortable. Because we're just trying to get this rotation in your shoulders that you rarely get to do.
Mm-hmm.
Because your arms can rotate further back than in day-to-day life you ever do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless you are Kermit, you know, running around
Yeah.
flailing his arms.
Yeah.
And any of these exercises you can do separately at any given time. You don't have to do these all together. Something else I try to remind people about is they think, oh, I need to set aside, you know, a half hour, an hour to do all these exercises together, when it's like, no, just like you would play when you see kids. They don't, you know, have to do all this time. They can spend just a few minutes at any given thing whenever they were wanting to. Or sometimes, you know, when you're feeling like, you know, you need to move, it's time to do a little exercise because your body's letting you know, my muscles, I are hungry. Here's how you feed your muscles. And that you will feel in essentially all of the rotator cuff muscles. So you'll feel it in your pec. You will feel it in your biceps. You'll feel it in your back. Well, in your upper back. And again, it's that we're so used to always sitting forward and typing and keeping our hands together on the keyboard that is what leads to those back muscles getting just tight and knotted up. Is your
Mm-hmm.
body's not familiar with, you know, what is the normal range of motion. It's used to being stuck in this one part. And so if, yeah, every day you can just let me put this back up so I can sit back down. Too distracting. And then, oh, I forgot to actually put down the next one is one Glory knows very well. This one is going to be harder for Glory to do because she has so much back, but it's, you know, do the twist.
Oh, the vanity twist.
Yes. This has the bonus of helping tone your abdominal muscles. And so in most people, over the course of about 3 months, you will see your waist shrink about, you know, an inch or two. Because again, you're getting the body to go, oh no, I want the muscles to stay like this. Here's how I can keep all of it balanced and the least amount of effort. And so let's just do the twist. Come on, baby. Let's do the twist. And again, it's something you want to do about 1 to 3 minutes a day. You can do it every other day, even. And this really helps with your sleep. This will get.
It also helps with like washing dishes and stuff, doing
Mhm.
cutting things at the cutting board, like anything where you're standing and doing small motion. But yeah, you can do it seated in a swivel chair.
Like I am. But you want something that doesn't have, or even if you're in a chair, padded chair like Gloria's, if she didn't have a lap desk, then she could simply lean forward and do this, because it's just, you need, you know, to not have something directly behind you, so you can actually put your elbow behind your back. And you just want to keep your arms about level. This is a separate. This will do
You may want
different
to
muscles.
stand to show this.
Huh?
To show the twist, you may want to stand to show.
Yeah.
Like you're supposed to do it really gentle because you can pull your back. So you really just want to do it real gentle and not overextend. Like this is one of the keys to this particular exercise, as was instructed in the 1920s magazine. Was this is like Thomas doing the full range, but that is only because he's been doing this exercise for like what 3 or 4 months now.
Yeah.
When you first start, you should not push yourself that far because again, you can pull your back.
Yeah, you just want to go to as far as it feels a little tight, and then stop.
Yeah, like imagine that you are a woman who is independently wealthy and needs to prove nothing to anyone, a Manhattan socialite from the teens and 20s. And you when you exercise, you don't dare want to break a sweat. So again, you're not pushing this. And it's actually a very good exercise for that because again, you do not want to break a sweat. You do not want it to be vigorous or fast or to feel strenuous because then you are doing it wrong.
It's also a good exercise to practice for when you need to elbow your way through the crowd to the sale.
Yes.
Because you do not realize until you accidentally hit a wall or somebody how much force you are actually generating with your elbow. Just doing this motion, not even that fast. But yeah, don't be too close to a wall when you do this. You may dent the wall. You think I'm joking. Although when you do this, another thing, don't move your head with your torso much, or you will feel seasick pretty quick. And this way we can also more isolate the back and make sure all the muscles are getting some work. The variation on this is what I call the downhill ski twist. And this one is also I came up with in part because I have damaged one of my knees. I had to have surgery on it. And so when you do this twist, your hips will twist somewhat with it. And so the next joint that has to move after your hips is your knees. And your knees don't always have that range of motion in them to do a twist and do a full range of motion. So instead, what you can do is, let me get this down so you can see.
Okay. Show us your belly.
All right. Is we're going to stand. For those who, are familiar as mountain or warrior pose, essentially this is the stance for when you're on a horse. And when we twist, we're going to move our knees like a skier motion.
Swooshing. It's like the grandpa twist.
Yes.
It's like the grandpa dance.
Well, that's why they're doing it, is so they do not twist their knees. Because so instead of getting the knees to turn, you are instead bending them forward to give that additional range of motion.
Yeah. It's that grandpa dance on the dance floor.
Yep. But it's a good way to get your hips and your back into getting those muscles all relaxed.
And also getting that fluid pumping.
Yeah. And Everybody enjoys a partner who's limber in the hips.
Oh, yeah. That's why Grandpa keeps getting asked out on dates.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's one you want to do a little bit slower because you can actually build up a lot of momentum in this twist and over twist and pull something. That's why you actually want to do this kind of slowly. Yeah, we're essentially kind of rocking from knee to knee.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why, say this is the downhill skiers.
Mm.
But yeah, because I have to be, careful with my knees. That is why instead of twisting as much my upper back and my hips, I bend my knees so that I do not worry I'm accidentally going to torque my knee and, pay for it later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be bad.
Now the alternate, not quite the alternate, but when you want to, so the twist will do your obliques and your abs.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to make sure you're also doing your mid back as well, your diaphragm, this is again that part of where we tend to take shallow breaths, and it's not easy to stretch your diaphragm.
Okay.
Here's one of the ones that will start working with your diaphragm to help stretch it a little bit.
Is it the chicken wings twist? Okay.
Out my back. And that is just put one or both of your hands behind your back as you're able.
Okay.
And then twist. And you'll see that you'll feel it less in your abs and more in your mid back now.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you'll notice your shoulders a bit more. But again, if you're always leaning forward and you're taking shallow breaths, you're just not in the, when we concentrate, we breathe more shallow because we are focusing our attention. And, way back, it helped to be a little bit more quiet.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a tendency not to take full breaths. And the diaphragm then gets kind of stiff. And that's where you've always got some mid-back pain. That's most often actually your diaphragm hurting.
Mm.
Lower back is going to be your hips and your upper glute. And the square muscle that is at the bottom of your ribs and connects to the top of your pelvis.
Mm-hmm.
But the mid-back is most of the time direct or referred pain from the diaphragm because it's just not used to getting a full breath.
Mm-hmm.
And it has developed a stitch in there, but it's always got to work. So here's one you can do of just, and it actually works best if you just do one and twist. Keep the other normal to in front of you. And then put your elbows farther back as possible. Unfortunately, it's been a while and I forgot to put a note down. There's one side or the other that it tends to be more often because your diaphragm is not actually even shaped. It is much more pronounced on one side than the other because of your organs. And so you may notice when you do this, one side, no problem. The other side, very stiff. And that's the one you probably want to do more stretches on. And so on to the next one. We're speaking of, just getting a full breath. And also we're seated all the time. Is we don't work out our abs and our lower back enough. Because, we tend to have, well, we do have backrests. Most of the time, we're actually tend to be sitting and we're leaning forward. So again, the lower back gets overworked because it's having to stay tight all the time to keep you balanced. We don't notice how much, but it's working a lot. And so that's where I came up with the crunch and bunch. And essentially, it's a sitting crunch. Or you can even do this standing. You do not need to be laying down for this because, again, this is just range of motion. We're not actually trying to do a weighted exercise to build muscle or anything. This is just range of motion.
Yeah, we're trying to lubricate everything.
We just want you to be able to move freely.
It's important.
Because less pain makes us all more creative.
Excuse me.
And so, since I do not have any really good clothing to show how to do this, I'm going to have to just describe how to do this. So,
you can't just do it?
Well, it's more of, you're not going to notice on me. Like,
Take
it's hard
your shirt off. Take your shirt
off. And it's important what you are tightening and how. So you're going to tighten your abs and curl forward slowly. You can take about 6 seconds to fully curl.
Okay.
And then you're going to relax the abs. And as you relax the abs, you're going to tighten your glutes like you're holding in a fart as you slowly rise. Back up and lean back a little.
And then when do you relax your glutes?
When you get all the way back up, you can relax them. And that's when you can curl forward with your abs. And hold in the front. And curl forward. And rise with your glutes. Essentially, we want the glutes to help pull us back up.
Yeah.
Instead of using our back as much. Because our hips are just not used that much because we're sitting all the time. And this is a good way to get those glutes activated. Although they probably are activated fine if you actually have to go walk up and down stairs all day. But most of us, we're in the elevator. We are just sitting. The glutes tend to be in this rotated 90-degree position all the time. So that's why it's like, after you curl forward, you want to be pulled back by your glutes as you rise up and relax your abs. And the first few times you do this, I would suggest you do this alone, away from people.
In case you fart?
Yeah, because you are actually pumping, your GI tract doing this. And
yeah,
well, you may move something through the system.
Yeah.
But again, this is like, you do it for a minute when nobody's around.
Right.
Heck, when you're in the bathroom sitting down. Especially if you're in the bathroom with your pants on, because you just need 5-10 minutes away from all those people.
Fair. Yeah.
I know I've been there.
Yeah, me too.
And a good way to distract yourself, just do this little crunch and bunch. Maybe talk to yourself. Have anyone who walks in thinks that, you are this close to going to the ER for, a medical emergency.
Oh, dear. I don't.
I need one more bread muffin.
Oh, dear. No.
But yeah, it's a way to help just get the lower half of our abdomen, or really to get our abdomen, all those muscles actually moving and stretching. Because we want to recalibrate the body's knowledge of the muscles of how do we want them to normally be. Another one that probably no one wants to do around others, because you're going to look silly. And that's part of the point, is you should feel silly doing this, but it should be fun. And that is what Puppy Belly and Care Bear Stare is / Protect the Light. And that is sort of another version of crunch and bunch, only this one is more concentrated on the abs and
Okay.
just getting them to be in a more neutral tone. So you can
I'm
do
just
this.
saying you could take your shirt off, Tom. I'm just gonna say it.
Should I just take my shirt off and then?
I think you should just take your shirt off.
Okay. No one here.
Like, look, you have legal nipples and I don't, so might as well use your legal nipples.
And this is to really help pretty much your entire thoracic and abdomen, and especially your diaphragm, get seated back into a neutral position.
Okay.
Because we're all self-conscious about our belly and our waistline, so we try to not breathe out. We try not, when we breathe in, to extend our belly.
Okay.
So, and this time we are going to extend our belly. That's why we're doing puppy belly.
Okay.
And then we're going to truly hold. And then as we do that, we're going to bring our shoulders back.
All right. So show us, what does this look like?
So breathe out, bring everything together. We're just going to hide everything, like we're protecting ourselves. And you're just going to breathe out. And your belly's entirely empty and pulled in.
Okay.
And then we're going to rise up, lean back, open our shoulders, and do the Care Bear stare.
Behold my belly.
Deflate. But yeah, we want to inhale until our puppy belly is full, and we're leaning our shoulders back. And then we're going to bring it all forward and in and down.
Well, I definitely felt my back pop.
Yep. That would be your diaphragm actually resetting.
Yeah. Ah, okay.
That's the mid back.
Oh yeah, I feel it moving again.
And that is, so essentially we're doing the entire upper body.
Mm-hmm.
And we're also even getting that back, and especially we're getting that diaphragm that just doesn't get a lot of exercise.
Yeah, I see what you mean, because like I did start feeling that, like, my mid back spine started popping a bit. Because it doesn't normally move much, and then it was actually getting some movement.
And that's why we have to do this full range of motion, is so the body knows, oh, those muscles aren't working right. Let's check that and make sure they're getting activated.
That's a good point. Yeah.
And that's what's like, that's why you also are retraining your breathing, so that you're getting a full breath.
Yeah, I feel that now. I feel like it's a little bit easier to breathe deep into my belly now than earlier today.
Yeah.
Like it feels like it's flowing deeper into the bottom of my lungs now. Like I don't feel like I have to struggle to get it to do that now. Like it's just, when I breathe, it's just clearly flowing, rather than there feeling like there's a struggle because I didn't realize my diaphragm was tight.
Yeah, a lot of that mid back pain is often diaphragm. And
okay. I'm starting to see where some of this. Okay, some of this is now making more sense for me in my body.
Yeah, and
because we're really not taught this in school. We're not taught how to like really identify what does various parts of our body feel like.
Yeah.
In order to diagnose, oh, my diaphragm is tight. I need to do a couple exercises to like kind of get it moving again because it's too stiff.
But I mean, kids though move around all the time, so also they're just not going to have this as much.
Well, I used to actually experience it by upper elementary school. I was experienced because we were sitting all the time in class. We weren't getting these exercises, because they used to do calisthenics, but they'd stopped it by the time I was in school in the 80s. You look like you're trying to do those Atlas exercises. Behold my Care Bear belly.
But yeah, by bringing our shoulders back, we're also helping encourage our chest to expand as we breathe in. So again, we get our body to better recognize what are those ribs supposed to feel like when we take in a breath. And then as we release out, we're going to help compress everything so it also knows what it's supposed to feel like when the lungs are empty. And that's why we bring our arms in together and we curl forward. Because we're going to help aid that diaphragm in truly breathing
a real
out.
stretch. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like now that I've done it a couple of times, I really am feeling the difference in my mid back. Okay. Oh, why put the shirt back on?
Because we're going to look at my legs.
I'm just teasing you. You do what you want to, babe. Because you're so proud of your shirt, Laura. Got you. All right. Are you ready for the next one?
Yep.
Is it the kitty toe dip or
Yeah.
is it the look at my shoe? Since you're up, the kitty toe dip?
Yeah.
All right. Kitty toe dip, y'all. Speaking of diaphragms, we're still working on the diaphragm.
And lower back.
All right. So here we are, back of the chair. Good old back of the chair.
Let me show you how to do this seated.
Okay.
And then I will show you the legs as well, because this is a...
All right. All right. Let's see what you got, Tom.
So essentially what you're going to do is this is to stretch out and take a full breath. And you can do this seated.
Okay,
and
good.
So the side closest to the camera, this arm, I'm going to lean back. You know, this one is lean to the left, or in this case, lean to the right.
Right.
And then I'm going to reach my foot out and straighten it. And because you're going to point your toe on the opposite foot.
Okay.
And then taking a full breath in this stretch pose 3 times. And out. 2, 3. And then we're going to switch.
Sides? Okay.
We're going to go the other way. Lean entirely away from that foot, because we do not want to get any closer to that puddle than we have to.
Right. We're just toe dipping.
This toe dip, who knows what's in that water?
Right? It could be
We're
cold.
going to take a few breaths while we just wait and see what comes to try to attack us. 2 and 3. If you want, you can do the exercise 1 or 2 more times. And that's another way to help kind of stretch out that diaphragm.
Okay. Do you want to give it to a standing as well? Because that was how you showed it to me.
Let's see. So again, it's just, you want to lean and put most of your weight on your elbow. And we're going to be a good distance away, because we want to truly lean on yourself.
Okay.
Like you're too cool for school.
Oh. The locker lean.
And then you're just going to try to trip someone.
That's
just
not nice. I thought it was the bird thing. Well.
We have like, this is just the standing version of that, of just the...
Okay.
Because again, when you're always curled forward, it's hard to get your diaphragm to fully work. And if it's not fully extending and relaxing, it will knot up.
So just do the locker lean.
Yeah.
Hey there, cutie.
as you try to trip someone walking by.
Oh, me? My name is Joe Cool.
Mm-hmm. And then if you don't lean back, that's where you have the just what I just call look at my shoe. Isn't it
Okay.
nice? And what we're going to do with this one
Okay.
is we're going to point the toe,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to twist our knee to the inside,
Mm-hmm.
and then we're going to we're going to rotate our ankle and foot up to the other. So point down, raise up and away. And this, if you do it right, you should feel a stretch in your lower back and in your sacrum and in your pelvis. Because we're going to rotate everything on this leg till the muscles actually have to tighten in your lower back, in your glutes.
Or as
Yeah.
I think of it, the bisexual office twist.
Yeah. But as you do these exercises, you will start to go like, oh, is that why my lower back hurts so much? It's like, yes, because your leg's not straightened and it's not rotating much.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't have to, the muscles are always slightly tightened, but never fully tightened, and your body gets confused. Yeah, we're just rotating this on the heel. And maybe twist a little bit away from your foot when it's pointed if you want to stretch your lower back a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
And then just switch over to do the other one.
Behold my shoe.
Point to the inside, rotate up to the outside. And part of this is the reason we need to do these for sedentary people, or people who are just sitting all day working, is because we don't realize how much you actually use your hips to keep you centered in your chair and to keep your body in position with your computer and your keyboard and everything. And these helper muscles have to do a lot of work, but the large muscles don't do much. And so that's where you'll see them get knotted up, because those helper muscles are really supposed to just help. They're not supposed to be responsible for moving the mass of your body. And so you're actually overworking them a lot if you sit down most of the time. And that's why, yeah, you need to do these stretches. As you see, like, it's just a minute or less on most of these stretches, unless you need to do it a little bit slower, and then it's like 2 or 3 minutes to do it slowly. So we don't hurt ourselves. And that's it. You're looking at a grand total of maybe 15 minutes to do all of these exercises when you actually start to do them regularly, that you can stretch throughout the day. But the real reason I keep doing this is just for the part of I sleep better. My back is not as stiff. It is completely worth it to remind myself to do this every day, so that just my sleep is more productive. I mean, it's nice waking up and not having a stiff back that I have to figure out how to roll out, because I can't just sit up. But yeah, I felt really silly when it was like, wait, the reason we all need ibuprofen and we hurt so much is because we stop moving like kids.
Yep. Stop fidgeting.
We stop fidgeting. All those things we tell them to stop doing if they want to be a proper adult is the stuff that actually makes you hurt more as an adult that we complain about. We are our own worst enemy.
Yep.
Just like I found the absolute irony of, if you want your kids to eat more, if they are picky eaters and they are slow eaters,
How dare you come for me?
the real secret is to get them to Get them foods that they need to chew less. If you tell your kids they have to chew all of their food all the time, they will not eat even a quarter as much. If you want to eat less, make sure to well chew all of your food, and you will find your appetite decreases a lot.
Because you're stimulating the vagus nerve.
But I love the irony of the kids we tell to chew their food tend to be the ones who are underfed and malnourished, not the ones who are very well nourished. We're like, why can't we help with this appetite? It's because they're not chewing the food enough.
Yep. So, Tom, what are your final thoughts? Just move. Just do the song. We like to move it, move it.
These are all to get us started. These are ones I specifically for people who are working at computers and working at desks all day, to make sure that you can get, the most needed problem areas addressed and to start feeling better fastest. But in general, the real solution is to just dance. Dance, have fun, be silly in your movements, and not be as self-conscious for a bit of every day. And that will get you most of this motion down to help your body. If just, whenever you're washing dishes or you're washing your hands or you're in, a little quiet place where no one can see you, if you're self-conscious, do a little Roomba. Do a little tango.
Start to sway, dance with me, make me sway.
Have fun flowing, and especially seeing if you can move in a smooth motion, because that smooth motion means that all of the muscles are properly calibrated and adjusted, and your body knows how the range of motion for each of them. If you have problems moving smoothly, it's because there's some muscle that your body thinks is the different shape than it really is. That's why they actually concentrate so much on a slow move, a smooth flowing motion, is because it means all of the muscles are, your brain knows what it's doing. I don't know how it's
aligned.
That you've actually, your body knows how it is designed. It actually, it knows how big that muscle is. It knows how small that muscle is. It knows what it can actually use it for and not try to use it for something it's bad at. You'd be surprised how much people's muscles are just incorrectly used. Like, why is that? I said, like, when you're sitting, you tend to use your helper muscles, these small little muscles, without much strength to keep you seated and move you around. Yeah. Even though they are just there to keep your balance and keep you steady, they're not actually supposed to be for large body movement. That's what your quads and your hamstrings are for.
Yeah.
If you can just dance every day, find some stuff to dance, you will also just absolutely feel better. That is why the happiest retired people dance several times a week, and they have such big smiles on their faces.
Just freeform dancing.
It's because they feel good.
I would also caution that in any movement, pain is bad. If you experience sharp pain in particular, stop that immediately. Don't walk it off. Stop it. Stop it. Rest. Do a full body check. A dull pain is that like a tight muscle? Like, you need to not ignore the pain. Pay attention to your body, and whatever it's telling you, it's not bad for communicating with you. So often I hear people say, oh, well, my body just complains all the time. Like, have you tried listening to it? Like, it's trying to communicate. You're ignoring it. It has something important to say because it's what's keeping you moving. So listen to your body. If you feel sharp pain, stop that immediately. If you feel like something tight but not necessarily painful, of course, check that and make sure that it's just simply a tight muscle and that you're helping stretch it a little. but not stretch it a lot, because again, it needs to relax more before you can stretch it a lot. But just really listen to your body and be gentle with it. This to increase your movement and your range of movement, this may take weeks, months, years. You did not get wherever you are in a day. You did not even get there in a week. It's going to take time. And the one thing your body needs is patience. So I would like to encourage people to listen to their body. And like, this was sort of a aha thing for me when I started taking yoga from properly trained yoga instructors, which is, if your body is telling you, oh, that hurts, stop it now. Go back to an earlier position before you were, extending whatever or stretching something out, and give it a moment. And then you could try that position again. But if you are still experiencing serious discomfort, maybe not today. This is just not the day. And that is okay. And that maybe next week, without you doing anything more, you'll be able to stretch, or maybe you won't. Really, the yoga taught me to look at my body as an ally that I was working with, rather than an oppositional, defiant relationship. And this was a big deal. I grew up in the 80s where it was like, no pain, no gain. You got to make it hurt, and all this of like, as if you're punishing yourself. And that was really getting me into a bad place. And that, no, your body is your best friend. They are your strongest ally. They are here to support you and get you to all your dreams. But you have to listen to it if you're going to get to your dreams. And that was really important. So I would like to encourage everybody to try these exercises out for yourself and really explore them, but also listen to your body as you do it. And don't push yourself. You would be surprised. I would like to say this. Okay, this is also another thing I learned in yoga, because my favorite yoga instructor of all time was actually a trained ICU nurse who got into yoga and loved it so much she became an instructor, and then kept getting more and more certifications and getting trained in various forms of yoga. And so she was really the best person for me as somebody with connective tissue disorders. And she was like, no, Glory, you don't need to try to stretch a little further each time you come to my class. Your body will do the full movement when it's ready. You just come and you do what you can. But if you are feeling even a little discomfort, back off from that. And I'm like, what if that means that sometimes I come and all I am is just sitting in child's pose or something? She's like, then you are here with us, and you definitely can participate in the meditation portion. But you are here with us in this moment together, and we're happy to have you. And I'm like, really? That's okay? She's like, absolutely. If you just want to stand when we're doing the fold overs, you just stand. You just be here with us. We're so glad you're here. And to take that pressure off me. Well, actually, it was taking that pressure off that actually helped my muscles relax more. So that is what I suggest to you, is no pushing your body of, oh, well, I stretched this far last week and I was doing this exercise. I need to do even further. No, you don't. You let your body dictate this, not you. Yeah. And you might be pleasantly surprised what your body's pace is once you stop pressuring it to perform the way your mind thinks you should be performing. You might be very happily surprised.
If you really do want to know, though, there is a trick to find out what is your real range of motion. Versus, sometimes the body it's not used to moving that far, and it's trying to protect itself. And you're like, is this my mind, or is this my body? And there's not been enough research. There is a trick to this to help actually figure out what is your real range of motion. And it's called reciprocal inhibition. And it's whatever muscle you want to relax and extend. Like if you want to, like say you want your upper pecs, like you're trying to do, open up your chest more, and you're like, all
Right.
right, is the pain I'm feeling because my body's just not used to me rolling my shoulders back, and it's like this is too new and weird? New? Or is it because I've actually hit no, that's as far as those muscles can move. This is no, we've just hit a physical limit. That's fine. What you do is you get your body to temporarily disable its self-protection function.
Oh, that sounds possibly dangerous, Tom.
No, but this is something you're doing slowly. Like again, this is just for a slow motion, just to see what the range of motion is, and it only lasts for about 2 to 3 seconds. So
Okay.
that's why it's only good to see what is your range of motion. It is useless for anything else.
So
And
let's
so
go.
if you want these pecs, you do the opposite of the stretch.
So you
go like this, and you hold it for 6 seconds as tightly as you can.
Okay.
So you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you open up and see how far you can move. And that is your actual range of motion.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. You can do that with any part of your body. If you want to see like how far is this, versus your brain going, no, I'm not used to the muscle relaxing that far. Tighten that muscle.
I do want to mention that one of the other things I learned in yoga was, number one, when a woman, a period having person, is coming about to experience menstruation, they can temporarily for a few days become extra stretchy. You want to be careful. And with a penis having person, okay, so testosterone does a couple odd things to the body. And one of the things testosterone does is it shortens or tightens a couple ligaments and tendons that are not that tight in uterus possessing people. And so even yoga instructors who've been doing it, teaching yoga for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, there's a couple positions or movements that the penis having folks are not able to fully stretch out even after doing this exercise for decades. And it just has to do with physiological differences due to hormones. And then, so that means, like, let us say that maybe a person, has a penis, but they are now taking estrogen. So again, some tendons and ligaments may experience a change in stretch. And you want to be careful the first few years while you learn what is a good stretch and what is a dangerous overstretch. Mm-hmm. And this is what I was taught in yoga. This was what I was taught in yoga 20, 25 years ago, by the way. So yes, testosterone will make certain ligaments, particularly in the crotch area, and in the hamstrings, extra tight. And there's no amount of exercise or experience that will make these looser at a certain point. That's just what their body is capable of. And that, even people who've been doing yoga literally 70 years will say, don't push further than what your body's capable of, because part of this is hormonal and you'll rip something before you're able to stretch. So you just want to let it be. And ditto with like pregnant people have to be careful about not overstretching for the exact same reason, because hormones are wild. Mm-hmm. So it's just something I wanted to just caution of, look, hormones play a role in our body, our muscles, our tendons and ligaments. And that is why, again, you want to listen to your body and see your body as an ally rather than an oppositional, defiant relationship that you have to fight and force to be. No, we're going to be allies with our body. Our body is here to support us. And that means listening to our body. So when our body says, no, this stretch hurts, or I just can't stretch that far, that we go, okay, that's all right. If you can't stretch that far, we'll just do a little modified. It's fine. Or maybe we just won't do this way. We'll try to stretch this muscle or this joint a little differently in a different kind of exercise. What we're doing, I would like to suggest, is to listen and also be aware that hormones will fluctuate and they will actually affect what you are capable of depending on your time of the month or time of the day, because people who are assigned male at birth, so their cycle is more like a 24-hour cycle versus uterus havers are more like on a 28 to 45 day cycle. I think it's actually 21 to 45 days, something like that. So they're on a bigger, like the cycle is actually very similar, but it is longer. And yeah, people who are assigned male at birth, they're on a 24-hour cycle. So you may, if you are a penis haver, you may notice that, say, certain times of the day, it's easier to do stretches versus other times of the day you seem stiffer, period. And it's just hormones, and that we're going to respect our body because it's there to support us rather than destroy us. So that was one of the things, very important things I learned in yoga. And honestly, it's kind of adjusted a lot of my worldview.
Yeah. Stretching and movement shouldn't hurt, should not cause pain, especially not sharp pain. If that's happening, that means too far. You're going to need to back up on that. Because stiffness just means that it feels, denser and it is harder to move. Pain, though, is where, I want this to stop because this says, my body says this hurts and it's bad.
Or nausea. Nausea is a type of pain.
Yes, nausea.
If you are stretching and you feel something that feels like nausea, back it off immediately. That is part of your body telling you this is not good right now. It may be better later today. It may be better later this week. But right now, no, because nausea is part of your body trying to communicate. So definitely listen to it.
And if it stays, and if it always does this, then you may also want to mention this to your doctor the next time you see them and make sure that that's not indicating something going on in one of the organ systems or something.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe there is some damage in, one of your ligaments or something that, you need to more keep track of just because we don't all feel pain the same way. Especially if you are somewhere in the autistic spectrum, we tend to teach those kids to ignore their pain in their bodies even more than most. And so by the time they're adults, pain is a very dull sensation and not very noticeable. And so the doctor may go, oh, no, this is of concern. That's what it's like. Yeah, talk to someone if the pain keeps coming back every time you do that.
It was something. So for instance, something I noticed, I actually noticed this in Tom before I realized that my body was doing this similar thing. It was after Tom. Was it your meniscus that you injured in one of your knees?
Yeah.
Remember?
Yeah, I tore the meniscus, and that's the cushion pad on the lower part of your knee.
So Tom would have it up, propped up on a pillow. And I would be like, how are you feeling? And he would say he's fine, except his face was red and his eyes, tears were literally running down his face. And I'm like, you look like your facial expression looks like you're in pain. And Tom would say, I'm fine. I feel fine. And I'm like, I feel like your body is telling me something that your mouth is contradicting. And on this one, I'm inclined to agree with your body. I hope you understand why I'm telling you you're not allowed to get up and make dinner. I'm going to make dinner. And it was essentially something we kind of had to negotiate because Tom was at the time, because yes, we had been raised as well by society to ignore our body's communication with us. And so Tom was unaware, but his face would tell me. His tears would stream down, he wasn't aware he was crying, but he could feel the wetness. And so I'd say, oh, apparently you're in pain. Why don't you sit here and see if your body like quiets down enough to tell you what is in pain? And this was sort of like a revelatory like period for us. Our mother had just died, and I was in the process of getting a divorce, and we were learning to trust ourselves after our families and our society had been telling us through our first 20 years plus to ignore what our body was telling us. Since we kind of had similar bodies, we were able to mirror and communicate with each other what our bodies were saying. And Tom would tell me the same, like, your eyebrows are either angry or in pain, and I'm not sure what. And so I'd go to the bathroom and literally look in the mirror at my face and then try to figure out, okay, is this angry? Is this sad? What is this? Because it would be like this. And I'm like, what is this? Why can't I get it? I try to smooth it, and then we go back. And I'd sit, and if I sat quietly for like an hour, eventually I'd figure out, oh, no, oh, I feel the pain now. Now that I'm quiet long enough, I can hear this tiny community of, oh, I'm feeling it in the bottom of one of my hips joints or whatever it is. And so again, if you're neurodivergent, you may have been raised by society to discount the communications your body is giving you. And we are now telling you something contradictory. But that is because we want you and your body to be best friends on the journey of your life. And honestly, these stretching exercises may be a good way to communicate, to, really learn where are your proprioceptors? Where are you in the world? Where's your body and how it feels? Just a thought. But it is rewarding, and also it will keep you safer. You will more than likely notice that over time you have less injuries. But it will take a while, because it's like redeveloping a relationship, a friendship with somebody you've been treating like crap for decades. And I just say that as like, look, this is how neurodivergent children are raised, because a lot of neurodivergent children, their nerves are actually more sensitive. And they're like, oh, stop complaining, or I'll give you something to cry about. So you just learn to ignore it. And then you get really confused about how to interpret what your body's telling you. It takes time. But in the meantime, we hope you feel better. Let's see what to expect on next Monday's show. Well, this is the last episode of this season of Awkward Siblings Hour. No matter how many seasons of 5 apparently we have. Can you tell I have ADHD? Anyway, August next week is the beginning of a new season of Creative Recharge, which I've labeled season 5. It may actually be season 6, and I don't know anymore. The world is madness. And so August 7th will be our first episode of season 5 of Creative Recharge, no matter how many seasons 5 we're going to have. And we are going to talk about action adventure movies worth knowing, specifically because of how the story is, how the tropes are, and also because these action adventure movies were so popular they became part of the cultural vernacular in the English-speaking world. So it's good to know. It's good stuff to know when you're communicating metaphors and even fight scenes or action scenes with your readers, or just, hey, maybe you just need ideas of movies to watch. I'm just saying, throwing that out there. Tom, do you have anything to add about the action adventure movies worth knowing, or action adventure tropes worth knowing?
No, I think that hit most of it, because it really is about that striking a commonality with your readers and knowing the shorthand, and also managing their expectations, because all of these movies are exactly what the people who are into action movies are expecting and want, and is fulfilled, and they are satisfied with, and they're happy to go back and watch it again and again. And that's the part to take note, is make sure you're delivering everything that your reader or watcher wants and expects.
Nice. Also, most of these are watchable.
Yeah.
True Lies is on the list. All right, y'all. Well, we are going to wave you off until next week. I hope you have a lovely time. Good night. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Good night.